Music has 12 major keys and 12 minor keys, and at first they can feel like a pile of unrelated facts to memorize. Which keys have sharps? How many? Which ones use flats? Most beginners just try to brute force the answers. But there is one diagram that lines every single one of them up in order and shows you exactly how they relate. It is called the circle of fifths, and once it clicks, key signatures stop being something you cram and become something you can simply read off a wheel. The whole trick is a single interval. Start on the note C, count up a perfect fifth, and you land on G. That jump of 7 semitones is the engine of the entire circle. Then you do the same thing again from your new note. Take G, jump another fifth, and you reach D. From D, a fifth lands on A. From A, you reach E. Each fifth becomes the launch pad for the next. C, then G, then D, then A, on and on. And here is the part that surprises people. Do that jump 12 times in a row and you pass through all 12 notes in music, every sharp and every flat, before arriving right back home on C 12 fifths, laid end to end, close into a perfect ring. Nothing is left out and nothing repeats until you are home. That ring is the map, so let's walk around it and see what each step actually adds. Going clockwise around the wheel means moving up by fifths, and every clockwise step adds exactly one sharp to the key signature. Watch what happens. We begin with C major, the plainest key there is, with no sharps and no flats at all, just the white keys from C to C. Now jump a perfect fifth up to G. To build G major with the major scale recipe, the familiar whole and half step pattern, 6 of the notes stay white, but one note has to be raised to keep the pattern intact. The 7th note, F, becomes F sharp. So G major has one sharp, and that sharp is F sharp. Now jump another fifth, from G to D. D major keeps the F sharp it inherited from G, and the recipe forces one more raised note, so now C is raised to C sharp. That gives D major 2 sharps. Jump again, from D to A, and you add a third sharp, G sharp, for 3 in total. Do you see the pattern forming? Each clockwise step keeps every sharp from the key before it and adds exactly one fresh sharp on top. Nothing ever gets taken away. And the sharps even pile up in their own fixed order, the same order every time, starting from F sharp, then C sharp, then G sharp. That order is just the circle itself. The keys get sharper, with more accidentals, the further clockwise you travel. Now let's turn the other way. Going counterclockwise does the mirror image. Instead of jumping up by fifths, you step down by fifths, which is the exact same thing as moving up by a perfect fourth, and instead of collecting sharps, you collect flats. From C, move the other way to F, to build F major. Almost everything stays put, but the 4th note, B, has to be lowered a half step to keep the recipe correct. So B becomes B flat. That means F major has a single flat, and that flat is B flat. Take another step, this time to B flat major, and you keep the B flat you already had and add a second one, E flat. 2 flats now. Step once more, to E flat major, and you add a third flat, A flat. It is the exact same logic as the sharp side, just running in reverse. One direction sharpens the keys one note at a time, the other flattens them one note at a time. And the flats add up in their own fixed order too, which is simply the sharp order in reverse. So a single will hands you both halves of every key signature for free, sharps clockwise and flats the other way. And at the very bottom, the sharp keys and the flat keys actually meet and overlap, 2 different spellings of the very same sound. But there is a second layer hiding inside the wheel. Every major key has a twin in the minor world, and the circle shows you exactly where it lives. That twin is called the relative minor, and it sits just inside its major key on the wheel, on an inner ring. Here is what makes it click. A major key and its relative minor use the very same notes and the very same key signature. Nothing is added, nothing is taken away. Take C major, which has no sharps and no flats. Its relative minor is A minor, and look, A minor uses those identical white keys. Same 7 notes, same empty key signature. The only thing that changes is which note you treat as home, your starting point and resting point. Center everything on C and it sounds bright and major, center the same notes on A instead and the mood turns darker and minor. To find any key's relative minor from its starting note, count down 3 semitones. Down 3 semitones from C lands you on A, so A minor is the relative minor of C major. Down 3 from G lands on E, so E minor is the relative of G major. Down 3 from F lands on D, giving D minor. That means every single spot on the circle is really 2 keys at once, a major on the outer ring and its shadowy minor partner just inside. So how do musicians actually put all this to work? The most everyday use is reading key signatures at a glance. If you open a piece of sheet music and see 1 sharp written at the start, the circle tells you instantly that you are in G major, or its relative, E minor. See 2 sharps, and it means D major or B minor. 3 flats means E flat major or its relative, C minor. You never have to sit and count anything, you just find the matching spot on the wheel and read it straight off. The second big use is understanding which chords belong together in a song. Keys that sit right next to each other on the circle are close musical neighbors, because they share almost all of their notes. C major sits between F on one side and G on the other, and those 3, F, C, and G, are the backbone chords of countless songs across rock, pop, folk, and country. That neighbor relationship is exactly why a chord progression that moves a step or 2 around the circle sounds so smooth and natural to the ear. Jump to the far side of the wheel and the change feels jarring and distant. Stay among neighbors and everything flows. The closer 2 keys are on the wheel, the more comfortably they lean into each other. So that is the whole picture. The circle of fifths takes the 12 keys and arranges them by a single interval, the perfect fifth. Travel clockwise and you add sharps, 1 at a time, travel the other way and you add flats. Tucked just inside every major key is its relative minor, sharing the very same notes. And the keys that sit closest together are the ones that sound best side by side. One wheel hands you key signatures, related keys, and chord families, all at once, which is exactly why so many working musicians keep it close. It is not a thing to memorize so much as a thing to read. You now hold a key to every key in music. Next, we will take these neighboring keys and learn how to slip from one to another in the middle of a song, the art of changing key.